How's it going, everybody? Welcome to my No Food Zamorak boss guide. Before I continue, I do want to say this is a guide for high-level PVMers, although low-level PVMers can probably follow along with this guide if you guys do want to learn the mechanics of Zamorak, but just keep in mind that you probably won't be able to No Food Zamorak at this time. And before I get started with equipment setups and inventory setups, I just want to let you guys know that there are going to be three different types of equipment setups and inventory styles for this guide, them being whether or not you want to use melee, whether or not you want to use mage, and whether or not you want to restore prayer during your battles. Just to get it out of the way quickly, I will say if you do want to restore prayer during your battles, you're going to want to get yourselves an attuned ectoplasmator. You can get a regular ectoplasmator as a rare drop from ghost monsters, be it aberrant specters or perhaps banshees, something like that. And once you get that, you can go ahead and buy yourselves 100 ghostly essence off the Grand Exchange, use it on your ectoplasmator, and you'll be left with this purple attuned ectoplasmator. And this basically works as a bone crusher for ghosts, so if you combine that with either a demon horn necklace or a split dragon tooth necklace, you can bury the infernal ashes that Tsutsaroth will be dropping, and you will restore yourselves a little bit of prayer. However, I would only recommend using this method if you are using melee, because in that case you will be able to use the superior scrimshaw of vampirism, unless you don't mind having a blood necklace and then right before the kill you switch to your split dragon tooth necklace to restore your prayer. Because when you are fighting, you are going to be wanting to use a blood necklace when you are fighting if you're using mage, or if you'd rather fight using melee without a scrimshaw of vampirism. The only minions within Zamorak's fortress are Zamorak minions, so you can just bring yourself a Zamorak arrow for protection, unless you wish to bring, let's say, Torva gloves or Virtus gloves or something if you're using magic. So for the melee equipment setup, as you can see here, I am using superior Tetsu. You can bring regular Tetsu if that's all you have, but I am going to bring superior because I have that made, obviously. If you don't own any Tetsu, then you can try this method using Bandos equipment, but I'm not sure how well it will work, so if you guys do try this using Bandos equipment, let me know down in the comments how well it worked for you. For your necklace slot, you should bring a blood necklace if you don't have a scrimshaw of vampirism, because you will want to be healing a lot back using that blood necklace. Since I don't have myself a blood necklace, I will be using a scrimshaw of vampirism. You can buy yourselves one of these off the Grand Exchange for 1.3 mil, or you can make them yourselves within player-owned ports for 10 ancient bones each, and it will last 1 hour longer, and it will give you 2% more healing back. Remember that the scrimshaws only work with melee. The Vampirism Aura, however, does work with all combat styles, and I would definitely recommend to bring this with you, as you will need the extra healing considering how high Tsutsaroth will hit you with his criticals, or his special attacks, whichever you want to call it. If you are going to be using melee, I'd recommend at least Drygores. You probably can do this with chaotic longswords or rapiers, but it would be best to use Drygores, at least just so that you can have the best accuracy on Tsutsaroth. His weakness is fire spells, but we are going to be going over a mage setup in a little bit. For your boots and glove slots, you can bring whatever your personal preference is. I will be using the best tank gloves available to me, which are pneumatic gloves and steadfast boots, but you can bring Torva gloves and Torva boots if you'd like for a little bit more DPS, and they will protect you from the God Wars dungeon minions. For your ring slot, I'd recommend bringing an Asylum Surgeon's ring. You can get this after you complete the Broken Home quest a second time within a 37-minute time frame. I believe that's what it is, but either way you gotta speedrun Broken Home so that you can get that ring. It's basically the best hybrid ring next to the Ring of Death, but the Ring of Death is quite expensive, and the Asylum Surgeon's ring can help you save adrenaline when using thresholds. For your cape slot, you can bring the best DPS cape you have. I will be using a kiln cape, but you can bring a skill cape or a max cape if you have it. A completionist cape would probably be best at this point because it does give quite a lot of bonuses towards strength, and it will also give you a fair amount of prayer bonus as well. When it comes to your inventory setup, if you do plan on using an attuned ectoplasmator, then you don't have to bring as many prayer flasks as I have here. You could probably just bring 1 or 2. As well, if you are using a Beast of Burden, remember to at least bring 1 Super Restore flask so that you can renew it if in case your timer does eventually run out. If you don't plan on bringing an attuned ectoplasmator, then you probably should bring more prayer flasks than I have here. Considering Tsutsaroth's special attack will drain your prayer, it will cut it in half every time he uses it, so having at least 10 to 12 will probably suit you right. However, he does drop a fair amount of Super Restores on the ground when you kill him, so you can always just use those if you end up running out. Also, you should bring prayer renewals, and I do have holy overloads here, which are a combination of prayer renewals and overload flasks. If you don't have overloads, you can bring super attack, super strength, and super defense potions because they will help quite significantly tank some of the damage and have better offensive stats when you're fighting. I will be bringing a spring cleaner because this will help send the raw materials from the rune plate legs and the adamant plate bodies that Krill Tsutsaroth does drop straight to the bank, and I won't have to worry about allocating them or sending them to the bank using my yak. Speaking of which, if you are using a pack yak, definitely bring yourself some winter storage scrolls. Otherwise, if you don't have any of those, you can bring some magic notepaper because Krill Tsutsaroth does drop a fair amount of potions that you will probably be wanting to note and bring with you after your trip because they will add up and they will make you a fair amount of bank. If you are going to be using melee, you're going to want to set your quick curses to always having protect item on because you never know. In case you DC, it's always going to be nice to have at least one more item protected in case you do die. Soul Split is going to come quite in handy here, and then also using Turmoil for your best offensive prayer. If you don't have Soul Split or Turmoil unlocked, then you will want to use the best offensive prayer available to you, which is either going to be Leech Attack or perhaps Leech Strength. Actually, you can use them both at the same time, so that might be good to use. Otherwise, if you only have regular prayers, then you can just go ahead and use the best offensive prayer available to you, which is going to be Piety, as well as Protecting Against Melee. Otherwise, you can use Protect Against Magic because if you will be using melee, you will take a little bit of extra damage from the magic minions, so test it out for yourself and see which works best. And always remember to bring yourself a little bit of food because you never know if things could get hairy. Zamorak has been buffed recently and he does spec or crit or whatever you want to call it almost immediately when he spawns now, which is quite ridiculous. It used to be he would have to wait 20 seconds after he spawns and then he'd be able to crit at any time, and then he could do it again after like another 10 to 20 seconds, but like I said, he can do it at any time now, so having food on hand is very handy. No pun intended. Now moving on to a magic setup, I will be bringing Superior Sea Singers, so if you have that, definitely bring it. Otherwise, you can bring regular Sea Singers. It might be possible to do this with Subjugation, considering Zamorak is weak to fire spells, so you will be doing a little bit of extra DPS using magic in this way, so bringing Subjugation probably won't be such a bad idea at this point. Unfortunately, I do not have myself a blood necklace, but if you have one, bring it because this will make up for the fact that you won't be able to use a Scrimshaw of Vampirism using magic. In fact, if you want to know food Krill Tsutsaroth using magic, it'll be in your best interest to have a blood necklace. Because like I said, you cannot use the Scrimshaw of Vampirism with magic, so if you do want to know food this boss, then you're basically going to be reliant on that blood necklace. You can attach a blood necklace shard to a Fury, so if that's just what you want to do, that way you have a blood necklace for all three combat styles, go ahead and do so. But like I said, unfortunately I don't have one, so I'm just going to be showing you guys me doing this with an arcane stream necklace. Cape slot, I will be bringing a kiln cape, but like I said, for melee, if you have a skill cape, that'll work. Otherwise you can bring a max cape or a completionist cape. Completionist cape would obviously be the best one in this case, but since I don't have one, I won't be bringing it. I'd recommend at least a sea staff if you're going to mage. You could do this with an Armadyl battle staff, but you probably won't be able to no food Zamorak. But if you can afford an Armadyl battle staff and you do want to try Krill Tsutsaroth, then go ahead and bring it because you'll only get better with more experience. As for my glove slot, I'm going to be bringing gloves of subjugation because that's all I own. Unfortunately, I don't have any static gloves yet, but if you do have static gloves, you can bring them. Otherwise, you can bring yourself some Virtus glue. Otherwise, you can bring yourself some Virtus gloves because that will help protect you from the Godver's Dungeon minions. Same with Virtus boots, but I will be bringing some Ragefire boots. As for your ring slot, I'd recommend an Asylum Surgeon's ring, but I'll just be bringing a Seer's ring because I'm a little bit lazy when it comes to questing, so I will get it eventually, but anyways. And like I said earlier, don't forget your Vampirism Aura because this will definitely come in handy for healing back some of the damage that you deal. Since you can't bring a Scrimshaw of Vampirism, you can bring a Scrimshaw of Elements if you'd like. Otherwise, you can just bring an Attuned Ectoplasmator, but just remember, if you are going to bring the Attuned Ectoplasmator and you do plan on restoring your prayer at the end of each fight, you should switch to your Demon Horn necklace or Split Dragon Tooth necklace at the end of each fight if you are going to be wearing a blood necklace. Otherwise, you could just wear this at all times. But like I said, and I'll drill it into your head, you're probably going to want that blood necklace. But that is for you guys to decide. Like I said, you'll only get better with the more experience you have, so just bring the best gear that you can bring, and I'll show you guys how to fight Zamorak. Inventory setup is basically going to be the same thing. You can bring a spring cleaner, otherwise you can bring yourself some alch runes, and here's that sexy beast. Anyways, overloads and prayer renewals will come in handy. Otherwise, remember to bring prayer renewals, but you can switch the overloads out for super magic potions. And don't forget super defense potions as well, because like I said, they'll help you tank a little bit better, and you'll also get better offensive bonuses bringing that super magic potion. I did fail to mention this on the melee inventory setup, but in my experience using melee, you don't really need a super anti-poison potion. Tsutsaroth can poison you from time to time, and he will, and it does deal a fair amount of damage, so it might be in your best interest to bring a super anti-poison potion. It's probably worth mentioning if you are going to use magic, don't forget your runes, because that's quite essential for using magic. Anyways, if you are going to be using magic, remember to set your quick curses to protect item, like I said, just because you never know when things will get hairy. And then remember to have Soul Split active as well as Torment, because that will be your best offensive magic prayer. And if you don't have that, you can go ahead and use Leech Magic as well as Leech Magic Strength, which will be the best offensive prayers available to you. Otherwise, if you only have the regular prayer book, then you can use the Piety version of magic, as well as using either Protect from range or Protect from melee. Once you're ready, you can go ahead and head over to Zamorak's fortress within the God Wars dungeon, get yourself some kill counts. I would recommend killing the imps because there are, I think, 4 or 5 imp spawns in there that you can run back and forth between and get your kill count fairly easily. But anyways, once you get your kill count, I'll see you guys in a sec, and I'll show you guys how to adrenaline stall to get in, and we'll get ourselves some sexy loot. Also remember, if you are going to be making an instance, remember to bring at least 200k coins in your money pouch so that you will have enough to start the instance. If you are curious as to where the imp spawns are, there will be 3 in this corner right here, and then you can find the last 2 on the west side right here. Alright guys, one thing I'm going to mention is that when you do enter Zamorak's fortress, it will drain your prayer, so I'm going to show you how to do now is adrenaline stall to get in after you get your kill count, as well as being able to restore your prayer. So I'm going to go ahead and start my own session here. I'm going to make sure that's on fastest. I'm going to start it, and then I'm going to adrenaline stall as soon as I get in here using freedom, and then I can go ahead and run over here. You want to be sure that you're in the middle of the altar here and then pray at it, otherwise you won't be able to for some reason. Turn your quick curses on, pot up. Just don't forget to activate your aura like I did. And then go ahead and go to town on Zami. You go ahead and use Sunshine as soon as you can, because that will increase your damage output by a little bit, and because of that you will heal back a little bit more thanks to Soul Split and the Vampirism aura. But anyways, just let Revolution do its thing, and then use your thresholds as soon as you're able to. This is basically the melee version, or sorry, this is the magic way of killing Zamorak, and you should be able to kill him quite quickly. Hopefully you can kill him before he does spec on you, but if he does spec on you, just keep your Soul Split on and heal back from some of the minions here. Fortunately, I was lucky enough to not have him spec on me, and so like regular, just go ahead and kill the other minions and then just wait for him to spawn back, and that's basically it. I will show you guys a couple more times here just how easy it is to fight Zamorak. Oh, and I got a rare drop table drop for Teak Plank, so that's not too bad. Not over 100k though, but anyways, here is Tsutsaroth, so remember, go ahead and use Sunshine as soon as you can. It might not be off cooldown if you kill them too quickly. You can go ahead and use your damage over time effect, then make him move so that he will take double damage from it. And then likewise, just remember to use your thresholds as soon as you can. And yeah, that's basically all there is to fighting Zamorak with magic. But I will show you guys just one last time, because as you can see there, he did crit me, but luckily enough, I will be able to heal that back. So when he's near death, I will use my sacrifice ability, heal myself back 1.2k there, and then I'll just go ahead and kill the minions. I did actually forget to activate my Vampirism aura, so I was taking a little bit of damage there that I didn't want to take, so remember to activate that and you will heal back quite a fair amount. And remember, use Sunshine at the beginning of every kill as soon as you can, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then use your thresholds as soon as you're able to. You might find yourself not being able to heal back a lot of damage if you are using magic with a sea staff and not using a blood necklace. That's obviously because you won't have the healing effect of the Scrimshaw or the blood necklace. So in my experience, it is a little bit easier to no food this boss if you are using melee with Drygors. But if you do have a higher tier weapon than a chaotic staff as well as that blood necklace, then you should have no problems here at all. And we got a magic seed drop. How many did we got here? Is that a rare drop table? Yes, I believe it is, 4 magic seeds, so that's not too bad right there. Got myself a beam drop, but unfortunately not a subjugation drop. One thing to keep in mind is that when Tsutsaroth does use his special attack on you, he will drain your prayer in half, so that's just one thing to keep in mind, and you always want to have your health above 5k. I know this is a no food boss guide, but like I said, you might have a little bit of difficulty doing that without a blood necklace and with only a chaotic staff. But like I said, practice makes perfect, and you will get better, so after he crits, go ahead and heal your prayer back up, and you should be okay. Anyways, that's basically all there is to fighting Zamorak or Krill Tsutsaroth with magic. So now we're going to move on to melee. Alright guys, so when you do teleport to Zamorak's fortress, you will lose all your prayer points, so I'll show you now how to start the instance, prayer or adrenaline stall, and restore all of your prayer. So I'm going to go ahead and start an instance now, make sure that's on fastest, go ahead and start, and then I'll adrenaline stall once I get in here using freedom once again. And then what you can do is stand in front of the altar here. It won't work if you're on either corner for some reason, and then you can just pray and restore your prayer. So make sure before he spawns that you do have your vampirism aura active, your scrimshaw is active, your prayers are on, and you are potted up. And this is the only place that you don't want to use berserk, because if Krill Tsutsaroth does hit you with his special when you are berserk, you will most likely die. Just trust me on this one. But anyways, that was a bad start, but I'm just going to go ahead and use Slaughter, then make him move so that he takes 3 times as much damage. And then you can use your blood tendrils, that will speed up the kill a little bit, and then you should be able to use Destroy one more time before he is dead. And I will show you now. As you can see, he did spec me, and I lost half of my prayer, and you will lose half your prayer when he does spec you. So it will save you prayer potions if you are using prayer potions to restore your prayer to pot up only once after he specs you. That way you can keep your prayer a little bit low. You just have to keep your eye on it so that it doesn't drain all the way, because like I said, if you do have full prayer points and he specs you, you will lose half of it. So it's always nice to lose half if it's only down there. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and use Slaughter, then cause him to move, and then I'll use my blood tendrils, and then I'm going to go ahead and use Assault, and then I will use Destroy after that. It might be better to open with Destroy, that way it's off cooldown quicker and you can use it to finish off the kill, and I'll show you guys that right after. As you can see here, I am doing pretty well with my health. This is a little bit better than the magic method, but like I said, I don't have a blood necklace for magic. So yeah, anyways, I'll show you guys the kill with melee one more time. As you can see, he did drop quite a fair amount of superstores here, so if you want, you could use those to restore your prayer, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to send them to the bank using my yak, and here he should be spawning any second, and as soon as he does, I'm going to be opening with my Destroy ability, which is what I've got on 6 right now. And then as soon as that's done, I'm going to cause him to move, and well, use Slaughter and then cause him to move, and then use my blood tendrils, and then follow that up with Assault. One more time, that's open with Destroy, use Slaughter, make him move, blood tendrils, use Assault, and then you could use Flurry after your adrenaline does get high enough. That will help you kill off some of these minions a little bit quicker. If you do want to use the altar in between kills, you can only use it once per 10 minutes, but if you do want to use that to restore your prayer, then you can do so. And like I said during the item inventory screen, you will want to be bringing super anti-poisons. Unfortunately, I forgot mine once again, but that will help you negate a little bit of the damage from the prayer, from the poison, because as you can see there, I just took almost 300 damage from that, and I think it increases over time. So yeah, you are going to be wanting to pay attention to that. But my prayer is getting low, so I'm going to go ahead and recharge that. But just remember, like I said, when he does crit you, it will split in half. So the lower your prayer is, the more money you will save on prayer potions, if that is what you're using. If you do end up using the attuned ectoplasmator as well as the demon horn necklace or split dragon tooth necklace, then you won't have to worry about this too much. But yeah, anyways, that's basically it for this No Food Boss Guide. I hope you guys get really lucky. Like I said, it will take a little bit more effort to no food this using magic, because you don't have the scrimshaw, but like I said, I'll drill it into your head one more time. If you do have the blood necklace, then you should be okay. But anyways, that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys get real lucky with your drops, and I'll see you guys later, tomorrow with another Iron Man video. So yeah, see you guys. And that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen.